Hey family, good evening, good evening. I just got home from an event. Looking at my necklace. I just came from an event with Rand Paul, and yes, here is the book. This is Rand Paul's new book, The Case Against Socialism. And it was a wonderful dinner. Thank God I was invited. I felt really honored. My good friend Judd Weiss, shout out to Judd, who lives in Bel Air. For those that don't know, Bel Air is Bel Air, honey. It's like, there's Beverly Hills and then there's Bel Air. Well, I was there tonight. You're watching Shirley's World. Tonight I'm going to discuss the issue of what the case that Rand Paul makes against socialism. Let me get the camera straight. I wanted to show you guys that he signed the book that he wrote. Look. I got a signed book. Look. Here's the signed book for Shirley, The Case Against Socialism, Liberty, and then his wife signed it, and he signed it. So I got a double dip, honey, double dip. And this is the book. So it was great. I did tape a little bit of the event, so I will post it online. I did talk about reparations. I'm going to share a little bit of that with you real quick, and I'm going to give you my perspective on socialism. So let me just say a shout out to many of you guys who've been following me and making comments on my videos. I want to thank you so much because your love and your diligence on having a communication and a conversation with each other really means a lot to me, because it's not me as a person, it's us as a family. We must come together as a collective. We must gather our thoughts, and we must understand that we as a people work better together than to work separate. We live in a country where everyone has segregated themselves and only help their own people. And if I can't focus on my own people, then who can I focus on? For every action is a reaction. For every non-action is the aftermath. We continue to live the aftermath of administrations and bad decision-making of allowing people who come into America from socialist countries to filtrate within our infrastructure of America and now trying to alternate. This is why Rand Paul wrote this book. He wrote this book to build the case of understanding socialism and building the case against it. I believe that the black community focuses a little bit too much of thinking that the government system and governmental programs are going to fix us. The only person and the only thing that can fix us is us. We need to embellish more upon the labor laws. Shout out to Ray Walker? Ray Walker, who was so kind enough to be in my last video where he talked about labor rights and rules and regulations and how to get jobs for black men in the trade industry. Because socialism doesn't want to promote the aspects of trade and capitalism and free thinking. What socialism wants you to do is to depend upon government of understanding the control of the distribution of rules and regulation as well as jobs for communities. That's what socialism does. And the problem is, in America, we have too many people who come into this country and they think we're going to take care of them. And we do. And California is one of the biggest hot mess for that. We are dependent upon the system that each other. So I'm not going to do a long video. I just wanted to tell you that I met tonight with Rand Paul. Now, what did we discuss? I talked about the Freedman Bureau Bank. And I go back to what I said in previous videos, and please go back and watch it. I talked a lot about it on that video with Vicky Diller. What a great video that was, right? Where I talk about the Eye of Sauron. Make sure you watch that video, share the videos, get the like buttons up on this one. Look, I talk about the case so that we as African American people need to be more conscious and be self-reliant upon ourselves, but also that we need help. We need financial help regarding fixing things within our community. So I gave 3 proposals to him. I said, 1, please understand that the African American community should be compensated for the Freedman Bureau Bank. And that bank was the bank that raided the case from Congress that allowed us to be raided in 1865. I told him about that. I also said that there's blacks in Kentucky. Shout out to the African Americans in Kentucky. We really want to build more relationships with people in Kentucky, all the ADOS and the foundational people, because Kentucky is the key cornerstone of blacks in America that are changing and having impact in this country. And we want to focus on Kentucky. And I want to tell you, this man is from Kentucky. He is a senator from Kentucky. And that's one reason why I met with him personally and gave some personal insight of where I feel things are. I also talked about about remittance. Now, I've shared that with other videos, and I told you other people in other countries are taking their money, making it here, and sending it back to their country. We need to talk about the labor laws within the Black and American communities. That money needs to stay in America, because if it stays in America, then we can make a difference for our communities. Now, what you're finding is this ideology of socialism, where they're saying, no, let government manage everything, and then government will distribute the power and the wealth back to the people. And I'm telling you, this is not the mindset. That's why this is a great book to buy and to read, to build that case against socialism and this whole liberal progressive movements, and start thinking as free thinking people. This event consists of not Republicans, but libertarians. This was a libertarian event tonight that had Republicans there, because Rand Paul is a registered Republican. But I want you to know that it doesn't really matter about the party. It's about the principle of the issues. Get the thumbs up button. I see there's many of you guys that are watching. It really helps if you get the button up and share. We need to talk about this, because we need to understand the wealth that we need to have within our community, and lineage wealth that we share with our children and also our nephews and our nieces. We need to hire each other. We need to be vetted with each other. But the way socialism is, they're making it us responsible for taking care of everyone else and everything else. And that's a Bernie Sanders type of thinking. And he was very adamant about Bernie Sanders and how Bernie is talking about this is the way the African-American community should go. This is not the way the African-American community should go. The way we should go is be self-independent and to be able to be free-thinking people, but also be able to be executed, to do execution of worth ethics of our own, and be left freaking alone. I wish people would just leave us alone, but that's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, so leave your comments down below. I thank you so much for watching. I told you it wasn't going to be a long video because it's late, but I did meet with Rand Paul. I did give him a proposal. I showed him, what is that? Oh, I'm going to have to show you it another time because all my stuff has fell out of my purse. Anyway, I showed him, oh, wait. I found it. Okay, this is it. I have some checks from, let me show you guys. See this right here? See this? Can you guys see this? This is the Freedman Bureau Bank checks. These are checks of the Freedman Bureau Bank of African American descendants of slaves from this bank. This is from 1862. That's this check. Then I have another one. I have a lot of these. Here's another one I have. Oops, that's not it. What's that other one? Oh, here's the other one. I have another one. This one is from 1862 as well, for the Freedman Bureau Bank. I have another one where I have another document that talks about the Freedman Bureau Bank, their deposits and the credits that we had. See, this is a real story. These are tangible goods of a tangible situation that was taken from us. Because I told you there's tangible and intangible goods. I showed him this, and I made a copy of these checks to show him that African American descendants of slaves were told to put their money in this bank. And Congress built a case and allowed it to be stolen from us. This is what Congress allowed. So you guys need to know your history. The Freedman Bureau Bank had 70,000 donors that were descendants of slaves that were stolen. That would equate today to $1.8 billion according to PBS's Black Boss. So watch that documentary. But the Freedman Bureau Bank, they stole from us. They stole from us. They raided this bank and they never compensated us for this. And Frederick Douglass went back in that bank and he tried to fix it. This was how they got us cooked on supporting social and liberal agendas, because we were free-thinking Negroes. See these? These are checks. These are real checks. These are not made-up checks. That's how they made them. And then they would deposit them and see that hole through it? That's their way. Instead of like today, you know how they put the stamp on the back? There's no stamp. That hole said that the check was cashed. Again, here's another copy of this check. Show these videos. See this? This is real. This is real checks that were written, and they had those kind of ink pens. You see that? I want you to realize what I'm about to push forward with is real, and we are going to do this as a family. I'm not doing this by myself. I'm tired of y'all thinking that we're out here playing games. We're already suffering with the homelessness and the prison reform and loss of money, But we need to revert to the people who suffered and were raided from by the federal government, set up by the federal government. They're the ones that set this bank up. They're the ones that allowed the bank to be raided and given to their family members and then turned into bonds for railroad ties with the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts. They're the ones that put these banks and these checks together. Again, these are 2 checks. I just have 2 and I have others to show. And I'm going to do a video on that. But I met with Rand Paul today. I made copies of that. I talked about that. And I said, look, this is not what black people want. Black people, sorry about that. We don't want socialism. We don't want to focus on socialism. What we want to focus on is doing a better America. But we can't do a better America. I'm sorry. I took my keys out of the car. I'm sitting in the car. Hey, Shirley in the dark. We can't do that unless we have something tangible to show. We have to make them understand, we're suffering right now. But I'm telling you what the liberal progressives and the Democrats want to do. They want to talk about socialism, and they want to talk about Bernie's the one. He's going to give us reparations. Reparations is not socialism. Reparations is compensation for what was taken and stolen from us. And the Freedman Bureau Bank is the substance and the heart of it. Is there other issues? Absolutely. Should we be going for them? Absolutely. But I told you, this is a big elephant. Reparations is a word that scares the hell out of white people because they don't want you to have legal principles, which is this. See this? These are cash receipts. You need receipts. People say, let me show you some receipts so y'all don't think I'm tripping. Here you go, right here. The Freedman Bureau Bank. These are the checks that black people had, and they end up cashing these checks, and eventually their banks were raided and all their accounts were stolen. 70,000 people that are in the National Archives right now. Y'all need to be doing your homework, because if they start allowing us to do research, they're going to start blocking that too. You need to know what kind of Negro you are. You need to do your homework, find out who your grandparent is, your grandmother. That is on you, not them, not the federal government, because you have to prove your worth. You have to prove your ADOS, your foundational connection to this country. It doesn't start just with me. It starts with all of us doing work on our own lineage. Talk to your family members. Make it a kind of a challenge of a puzzle with your sister and your cousin and your uncles. Don't feel that you're alone. Get the thumbs up. Please share this video because the tangible goods are so important. These receipts show these people that we were real. I got other things I'm going to do videos on, but again, tonight, Paul, and I built the case and I talked about the case that, look, Mr. Paul, you've got to step up to the plate. If you want the voters in Kentucky to vote and continue to have you in office, life is about reciprocity, honey. I told Mr. Paul that. Yes, I did. Life is about reciprocity. And yes, you might be against socialism, but right now the Democrats are pushing socialism and progressivism and everything else, and we ain't getting shit. So it doesn't matter what party you're with. What matters is, what do I get out of this? And right now I am pressing, because I am a Republican, I am pressing the Republican Party of the word of reparations as evil, but to look at it from a business standpoint of reciprocity, to utilize black people who are in business, who believe in free labor, who believe in capitalism, who want African Americans to succeed, not only just on a 6, 7, 8 digit level, but also on a trade level. We have a lot to offer this country, and we always have. But unless we do our homework, unless we learn our own lineage and get the receipts on the Freedman Bureau and get any receipts that you have, start talking to me, email me. You guys can contact me and let's have these conversations. Let's continue to develop an understanding of self-worth. Because if you don't value yourself, nobody else will. They don't value you. You need to understand that. They're jealous of you. They think you crazy. They think you're entitled, which you are. They think that you're just the same as they are, and you're not. And they're going to continue to push that plight. You, on the other hand, have to say to yourself, I am worthy to know more of me and what I bring to the table, so that when they tell you their story, which they're going to do, my name is so-and-so, from my people suffered, blah, 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 blah. When they do that storyline, you need to have your own story in place. Get the thumbs up and share this video and have the conversation. Is socialism the way you really want to think, or do you want to be a free-thinking Negro? Because that's what you are a descendant of, a Freedman Bureau. You're a freed man. And because you are a freed man, you need to start thinking and acting as one. That's why I supported to go to this event tonight regarding Ron Paul I was Rad again. You know, you have Ron and Rad, right? Paul, Mr. Paul, Senator Paul. I was very honored to be with him. I took a good picture, and then I took a kind of crazy one. I'm not to post the one I have on my cell phone, but I will post the one that was professionally done. I'll probably get that down the road. Else. God bless you. Sure, you look beautiful. Thank you. How are you? I'm good, Caroline. Thank you so much. Thank you for the email. I appreciate it. God bless you, Shirley. You look beautiful. Shirley, it says, can you copy those and make that available and download, please? I'll give you the link below. I'll look it up when I clean this video up of how you guys can get this book, because this is a great book. The Form of Central Power, Dark Matter says socialism, communism, so-called democrat institutions, etc. have inherited temporal corruption. Absolutely. Socialism, communism, democracy, institutional thinking. Institutional thinking. Get where we're coming from. This institutional, sorry about this, my phone's coming out of holder. Institutional thinking is a different type of thinking Negro. It must be different. Yes, you want to see the copy of the checks again? Somebody say copy checks. Honey, look. Oh, you want to make copies? You know, I can do that. I can make copies. I'll make copies so that you guys can see them. But this is the real Freedman Bureau check here. And I have another one. Let me hold it a little longer. Here's a Freedman Bureau check here. I need you guys to start talking to your aunts and your uncles and family members. And if you've got checks or receipts or any kind of deposits, please let me know. I think we should start gathering tangible goods so that we can show that we really did have people, and this bank was. Because I've had people tell me I'm talking like a fairy tale, and this is not fairy tale. This is reality. The reality is that we as a people deposited money into banks. This one here, let's see if you can see that. I'm going to hold it in front of the camera a little closer. I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay, so what that is saying, it is the Freedman National Bank of Boston. Hold on. See if I can take it out. It's the Freedman Bureau National Bank of Boston, and there's actually two of them. So... hold on. I don't want to bend it. You know, this thing is really old. This is the real deal. Can you guys see that one? I know it's reversed. But anyway, it says the Freedman National Bank, and it is 1886. 1886. Can you guys see that date there? Yeah, so this has a receipt for the enclosed statement, which is a credit collection. This is them getting a receipt for a payment. And then this part here is the part talking about the bank, which bank it was made out to, and this is the postal. So this is a postage, postcard, like you mail out, and I'm letting you know about you. This is how they did it. The name and then the city. You know, that's how small America was. They could find people that way. Honey, our lives are right before us. We have the receipts. We have the information through the National Archives. You know the problem with black people? We don't do our homework. We're not reading. The more you read, the more you empower, the more you can confront them with tangible goods. Saying, well, how do we know you're a descendant of slaves? How do we know the Freedman Bureau was the issue? I talked to his wife. She didn't know what Freedman Bureau was. Okay? Why? Because it's not a priority for them. What's not a priority is that's not making it clear to them. Joe says, I told my parents and my families and they don't believe it. See, that's the problem. They don't believe it. See this right here? The Freedman Bureau Bank receipt. And there's a lot of historical relics, and go and find these things. Go find them. Find out this information, that this is really real. The Freedman Bureau Bank was a real bank. The concepts of blacks having money in the 1800s is something folks today can't grasp. The slavery movies, yeah, that's them liberal progressive, them movies where you see Oprah Winfrey and the rest of them be showing master and spitting in waters and all that kind of stuff. You know, that was part of American history, but there were also an era where black people had real money. I told you, 70,000 people, 70,000 slaves put that money in those banks. Okay, from the war, the Revolutionary War. Okay, for those who don't know this history, I'm going to tell it again. I'm going to say it again, try to make it quick. After the Revolutionary War, after Lincoln, you remember that war with Lincoln? After Lincoln died, the slaves were freed, and emancipation. When is that year? Somebody type the year. What is the year? What is the year of the emancipation? Does anybody remember? I bet y'all don't remember when the emancipation was. Okay, 1863, 63, 65, okay? During that time frame, Lincoln said all these Negroes are freed slaves now. What are they going to do? And then there were soldiers who had money. So they created the thing which is today would be called FEMA. You guys know what FEMA is. When something tragic happens, they come in and they compensate and they do. Well, this was a new form of Reconstruction called the Freedmen Bureau. These were freedmen. The Indians had a different freedmen, and we had a freedmen bureau. This bureau was set up to redistribute pieces of land and knowledge and goods to our people. But what happened? Lincoln died, who was a Republican. Andrew Johnson, who was a Democrat, decided to tell black people, we're just going to only give you the bank. Well, the laborers of the land, which were black people, said, fine, we'll start our own markets and stores and schools. And for 10 years, they left us alone and they let us build the wealth. Then the Congress said, during that 10 years, they set this bank up. They said, put your money in the bank. The soldiers, the workmen, put their money in this Freedman Bureau Bank. After they put the money in the bank, listen to me, do your own homework. Don't be just taking me for my word. The story. After they put all their money into these banks, Congress petitioned to allow these white men to run the presidential bank. Blacks should have been running it from the beginning. Frederick Douglass should have been running it from the beginning, but they didn't. They gave it to this white man. He ran the bank and then he raided it and he gave the money to his friends and everybody knew it. They bought money in stocks. And so those people's children live today through generational wealth off of your parents. Y'all ain't listening to me. Y'all ain't letting this set in your spirit. There are some white people right now who are living 8 and 9 digits and generational wealth because of your parents' money that was stolen from the Freedman Bureau Bank. Today, that money, according to PBS Black Boss, is worth $1.8 billion. That is my contribution of saying this is another form of reparations. Are there other issues? Absolutely. Should we focus on them? Absolutely. Am I going to? No, I'm going to take this elephant one bite at a time. And I say, Congress, you set this bank up. You allowed black people to be raided. You allowed us to let our checks be deposited thinking that we're putting money in this bank and it's getting taken out. And you allow white people to come and steal our money. And now you've put this new form of socialism together. And now we have to understand that this is a case that has been built against the black community. Socialism is a case built against us. This is what Democrats are promoting. This is what Bernie is promoting. That we're supposed to work together. If this was the case, they'd be working with us. They ain't working with us. They don't want to work together. These people are about themselves, and all these immigrants and illegals are about their own country. But if you know that you want to work for your own people, you need to learn your history. You need to do your homework. You need to find some documents so that you can understand exactly where I'm coming from, okay? Finally, when someone's telling us, honey, I've been saying the truth for a long time. I've been trying to wake up people, but they ain't not listening, Dimitri. You know, me and you've been talking about this. This is what I'm talking about. Today, the Republicans are different from the radical Republicans and the Reconstruction. So are the Democrats. You're expecting these parties to act accordingly to the 1800s. They're not. But what they do have to do is abide by that Constitution that they created, these infrastructure of state and local and federal laws. Do you know that your state has a constitution and then there's a national federal constitution? You guys don't even know those constitutions. You don't know those constitutions. You better know them. You better know them because the more you know, the more you grow. And 1865, yes, I knew it, but then later I tried. I tried. It took me a long time to type this. I appreciate it, Carol. Thank you so much. Carolyn also says, and they want to stay the same. They don't even want to go down with us. No, because of the black and brown community. Oh, fuck that. Excuse me for cursing. I've been good. No, the brown community don't care about you. It's all black, honey. Be one. Someone type in hashtag black B1. Type in hashtag BF1. Black family first. If Ron Paul, the man who made this book in Kentucky, if the Kentucky a change and want to give something to black people, they need to give black people back the benefits that was stolen through the Freedman Bureau Bank. And that would apply to Adolfs and foundational people. And if you guys are not doing your homework, and I told you, you need to look up the daughters of the revolution, the sons of the revolution, because those are the people who are children of the daughters of the colonists. These are organizations. The daughters of the colonists are the ones on the southern side. The daughters of the revolution are the ones on the northern side. You are part of some of those. So you may not go back to that Revolutionary War, but you have family members who equate to that part of slavery. I can't do your own homework, honey. All I can do is provide you the receipts. Now, if you can't prove your worth, and they're talking about when they finally say, okay, you want to check, you're going to need to prove yourself, then all of a sudden, you know how they do those switch and bait? Excuse me. You know how they're going to be blocking us? We can't allow that. You've got to do your homework. Thank you. Hashtag B1. Somebody put in hashtag BF1. Black family first. I'm not going to talk about the black man and the black woman. I want us as a unit. I need some black men. I need some real alpha men. I don't need no beta. I don't need no brother in the dress. I don't need no ABCD brother. If you're an ABCD brother, shout out to you, and you're conservative and you believe in reparations and in the F1 movement, I appreciate that. But for me, I need a black man that likes a good, strong black sister who wants black children to work, and we can show ourselves as units. Because all these other cultures of people are doing it, the Mexicans, the Italians, the Indians, the Chinese, the Koreans, people from Korea, all these people show families, and then we talk about ourselves as individuals. That ain't gonna work. Because in order for us to be able to have receipts, get these receipts, honey. In order for us to get these receipts, we have to start showing these white people, this is real. I made copies and I showed Rand Paul, this is real. This is real history right here. Thank you, someone. Thank you so much, family. F1 first. F1 first. Thank you. F1, BF1. BF1. Black family first. Y'all need to start telling me we need to work and they don't want, we're not giving people the black vote. Oh, no. They need to be focused on a black block. You want the black people, you need to buy the block of votes, honey. Because then you're talking about, okay, let's say people say, I want to give Trump the vote. If Trump wants 75 to 35%, that's fine. Somebody wants the 75. If Trump gets 25, who wants the 75? Because Trump could win the whole lottery if he played his cards right with the right people. Instead of working with Charlie Kirk and all the rest of these people draining, taking donation money, talking about they helping black people, which they're not. And all them chicken hat winner and them so-called Jesus people, they're not doing anything. I'm going to be honest with you. If you did, we will see it more. Yes, the trade unions, the labor laws. Again, get these receipts. Start having conversations, getting conversations with your family member about the pain and suffrage of our community. My vote is for sale. It's more than that Chinese. What is that? What the Yang was giving $20 away or $1,000? See, that's that kind of ignorance that they play us for. Let me give these people $1,000. That's gonna set them free. Hell, let's give them $100,000. Oh no. I want generational lineage wealth, just like the Native Americans giving. I want to see African American people be a sovereign nation of people. The ADOS people deserve to be a sovereign nation of people. And we need to be able to have the money to get these people off these damn streets, because 90 to 85% of them are African American nationwide, and nobody's getting us off the street. So we need to get ourselves off the street, and we need to stop praising these celebrities and these athletes who don't want to realize there's a reality to our history, that there are tangible goods to our history. And it's still out there, but we're not showing people, look, this is a real check from the Freedman Bureau Bank that was raided in the 1800s and up in the early 1900s today. Who's out there? Nobody gets paid for the pain, suffrage. There's no way. Oh, you took it down. Okay. I was going to read it, but you took it down. It's fine. I guess you're going to retype, but the federal and the state constitutions are always violent, and it has also, my phone is fading. Yes, we're going to ethics and morals and corruption. Look, we know ethically these people are wrong. We know morally these people are wrong. I'm not disputing that. What you have to understand, legislation and law was disrupted, and there is a legal action that could take place against Congress, because Congress is the one who commissioned the bank. And Congress is the one that told the American people, the black people, to put the money in this bank. Congress should be liable for that. And they should compensate the descendants of slaves for that in the form of sovereignty and of distribution of funds for generations to come. Now, I think I've explained that very clear, and I will continue to say it in a manner that makes sense to people who get it. BF1, thank you, red, black, green. I appreciate all you guys who understand that. Shirley, I just left the club. I was at the club, so I was in the area of the club. I was in Bel Air. Had that weird fog by, like when Kobe was driving in, that was kind of scary. It was a lot of weird fog. It's a lot of weird fog lately going on. Nobody should get paid for suffrage other than people who, whether it is the ancestors of the children and race, and cannot justify the thieves and the taxpayers of the money for something they think they do with us. I'm basing this on tangible, legislative, historical facts. Tangible, legislative, historical facts that was commissioned by Congress. Y'all understand what I'm saying? This was commissioned by Congress. This thing is upside down. Jesus, take the wheel. This was commissioned by Congress. So I'm not giving a hypothetic notion based on this percentage and that numbers. No, these are real numbers. They know the numbers of people who were in the bank. It's registered with the National Archives. Write that down. Write down National Archives. And then type in Freedman Bureau Bank. Freedmen. That's called Negro, freed Negro. You should be a freed Negro. Thumbs up to Joey who said, I got that. That's what I was saying. The judicial, not only levels of it. That's correct. So there is a legal responsibility based on legislation of laws that they put in place that later they stripped and stole from us, and an omission of guilt was given and done through Congress. An omission of, yes, we know that the money was stolen, and yes, we know you were not compensated for it. What would you like to be done? We want those compensations to be given back to those children. Who are those children? They're in the National Archives. What are their names? The children of the children whose parents served in the Civil Wars and the wars after that, and those who are descendants of slaves that can trace back to 1865. This is not rocket science. This is all structure and strategy, my people. And if we're not going to strategize and we're not going to stay on point and we're going to be all over the place and attacking each other, we are not moving forward as a nation of people. But we can move together if we put our senses together. Peace, sister. Rand Paul is cool. He is not his father, though. Ron Paul was on point. You know what? I really appreciate him providing this book for those who just chimed in. I just came back from an event and I got to talk to Rand Paul. I showed him copies of this check in person, and I made copies and I gave him the historical factors of it. And I would like someone to start maybe emailing or tweeting, please review and look up Freedman Bureau. Please tweet Rand Paul tonight and say, thank you for meeting with Shirley Husar. Please look into the Freedman Bureau Bank and the disruption of them stealing from our people. The Freedman Bureau Bank, we need to be compensated for that. We need to bring that before Congress. We need a bill instruction in office. We need him to write a bill for compensation for the Freedman Bureau descendants of slaves. Is there more money that should be equated? Absolutely. But I think when you approach these folks and you're trying to ask for a whole bunch at one time, it's too much. It's overwhelming. It's like having this meal and it's like 20,000 dinners at one time. It's not going to happen. What we can do is take it one bite at a time, one case at a time, one issue at a time. This is a real case through this man and a real issue, which is the Freedman Bureau Bank. And that's why I met with him. I can't see. Oh, here we go. I have to swipe it to make the thing come back up. Ron Paul is a libertarian. He is a person who supports taxing America's and who has nothing to do with slavery. Let me make this clear to you. You don't know what a libertarian is. A libertarian believes in no government, less to no government. I'm a Republican. Republicans believe in a little government. Democrats believe in socialism, and they believe in big government. So Democrats believe in making sure that government compensates for the people and that there are more governmental programs. That's why you had Lyndon B. Johnson create the Great Society. That's why you had Andrew Johnson, who created the Freedman Bureau Banks, just to only raid it from you. See, you need to understand the thinkings of these people, and then you can make that kind of statement. So Rand Paul and Ron Paul have always been libertarians. They don't believe in big government. That's a Democrat thinking. If you understand libertarians, they believe in free thinking, and they believe in no government. They believe that the people should be able to be free labor thinking. That doesn't mean governmental programs to offset the people. That means that the people are fully responsible for themselves. But I have a different notion. My notion is this: adults are little children in grown bodies. They are not responsible for themselves. That's why they go off killing people and stealing from people and thinking they're the same as you without acquiring the same work or ethics or skilled labor. They don't have any skills, but yet they deserve the same pay and fee as you do. And you keep raising minimum wage to someone to go flip burgers at McDonald's by pushing pictures. In the meantime, you went out and got a certification, you got a degree, you've got some type of trade or warrant underneath your belt, and you're going to have the same rights as someone else based on socialism and ideology? That's not Republican. That's not libertarian. That's a Democrat. Democrats are lying to you. So when we talk about, well, they're not giving us nothing, stop looking for somebody to give you something on either side. Ain't nobody going to give you nothing, Negro. The only person going to give you something is someone based on law. When you get in trouble and you sue somebody, you have to prove your case. I want you to start acquiring these documents. Talk to your family members. I cannot do this alone. I need help. Can somebody out there get the 911 to Negroes who needs help? 911 Negro. 911 Negro. Freedman Bureau. I'm serious. I am serious. You need to look up. This is a case that we could build against the federal government for at least compensation on this aspect of it. Okay? Get those thumbs up and let's keep talking. Please share this video. Get the thumbs up. Red Pill. Red Portal. Are you Black Americans? I always say I'm a black colonist. If you understand what I mean, the colonists are the people who created and founded this country. This country wasn't founded for black people. We were brought here as commoditized good trades and service, and we're still used that way in privatized prisons, okay? But what I do bring attention to white people, which they don't want you to realize, I let them know I am a child of the colonists. I'm not from Ellis Island, or my people from Ellis Island, or my people from Mexico or Italy or whatever. My people came here on ships, unwillingly, unwittingly. We were kidnapped, stolen, and beaten. And I don't know what African nation I've come from. I can do my DNA, which I've done, and found out the percentage of different African tribes. But I don't know my native tongue of whatever. There's over 500 plus languages within Africa. I don't know any of those. I know how to speak Ebonic. Yo, bro, give me that food over there. I'm joking, but I'm very serious because the white slave owner, they beat all the language out of us. You understand that? We even tried to have certain braiding patterns that meant something. We kind of lost that history. Y'all don't know the braid patterns that the women would do in their hair. It told them how to get from the south to the north. And there were certain cultures that did certain things, and they stripped that away from us. So when you talk about being an African-American Negro, that's another thing. Obama took that word out. Negro means different things to different diasporas across the country. But in conjunction to slavery and Black America, Negro was very clear that the Negro slave was the slave that came from the ships from Africa to America. And that's into America. And that is why you see documents and embedded marble statues and things that talked about the Negro slave when it comes to legislation and the Freedman Bureau Bank. You have the tangible goods of proof. You need to have the conversation regarding it. But if you're not talking it, and when you got family members, like someone said out there, and family members don't think it's real, then you're wrong. BF1 and B1 Trump supporter. But if we support Trump, we need to petition to the president of these United States to discuss the compensation of what Congress has done and rating us. Congress stole and allowed the money to be stolen, and they know the families that stole the money, and let them keep the money. That white man and his friends kept the money and bought stocks, and today those children are generational wealthy from your parents' labor done after the Revolutionary War. Y'all need to do your homework, okay? I ain't making this stuff up. Our ancestors fought to stay in America, to stay in the U.S. This is what Red Portal is saying. We have the opportunity to return to Africa, and hear of Frederick Douglass. Okay, I get that. I ain't going down that road. I ain't going back to 1619. I'm trying to make it very clear. You guys are all over the place. We could have gone back to Africa. We could have. No. Stay focused. Money. Bank, stolen, Negro, work. Congress commissioned the bank. Congress set the bank and stole. You have a right to say, my great-great-grandmother's money was stolen. I want to be compensated for it. Let's start talking about Freedman Bureau Bank, ADOS. Let's talk about it. Because get the thumbs up and share this video. And then you need to get this book. Get this book. And start talking about how socialism is not the way. The Democrats are not helping us. Down ballot voting, I'm sorry, Yvette, we agree on a lot of things. That one I ain't going for. We're not down ballot voting in Kentucky. That is not helping the Kentucky people to continue to be oppressed by legislators who are not doing nothing for us. If anything, put the fear in God and people to say, look, if you want the black bloc vote, Mr. Trump, if you're getting 25, 30%, whatever you get, 15%, if you want the 70% of the block of the vote, you need to provide a compensation packet. This is easy. This ain't rocket science. This is not rocket science. When you've got legislation and proof of evidence of a redistribution of wealth stripped from the black people. My God, you people got to do your homework. Don't let your friends to lie to you, because someone was saying, oh no, they don't believe it's real. Then you, Negro, go to the National Archives and please pull up your own homework and watch some videos. Go to YouTube and type in Freedman Bureau Bank. Go to watch PBS Black Boss. And I don't care if you do have to pay. Some of y'all too damn chick. Take your credit cards out and go buy that little video for $14, $15 and then have a watch party at your house. Have some friends at your house and start having watch parties and discussions. And then email me and let's start putting our minds together to address the Freedman Bureau Bank, because there's compensation that you should be getting for the stripping and the stealing that was taken from your people. Someone types in, Trump is our best bet for ADOS and reparations. Absolutely. I am a descendant of slaves, and I am a Trump supporter, and I was the delegate and the surrogate for 2016. This year and the years to come, I am focusing more on my own people. Trump will be elected, and they're going to have those blacks for Trumps, and shout out to them. Because if it wasn't for people like me, you wouldn't have a job right now. So you should be grateful to the Queen giving you credit. But let the truth be known. We have a lot of work to be done, my people. You don't just give your vote away just because someone says, you need to give your vote away. You need to vote for so-and-so. I don't care who's in office. That's a responsibility that the office holder has to the people who have the block vote. I looked Rand Paul in the eye. I said, look, you want people to buy your book. And you also need black votes, right? Yes, I want to get the black vote. Then you need to think about the block. Because life is about reciprocity. And I talked about remittance, how the illegal immigrants send all their money back to their country. Those people could be taxed. Remittance through taxation could be compensation to offset payment for us. Did I say that too fast, or did I go over through too many people's hands? Write this down. Remittance through compensation. Remittance means money they send back. They make $1,000. They send it back to their country. We tax them. We tax them 50%, 30%. That money needs to come back to us. So if they're going to send back $1,000, they have to deposit $1,300. Because $1,300 means $300 comes back and it goes towards reparations. Why us? Because they ride on the back of the civil rights law. And if they're going to ride on the backs of the civil rights law, that civil rights law that is put in place primarily for the descendants of slaves, the Negro, has now become the civil rights for every other color and creature of people from different countries promoting their socialist, fascist ways in our urban communities, then that money needs to be redistribution through the foundation of people who got you here. Now, doesn't that make sense? Does that make sense? Somebody please put one for yes. Just type in one. Please type in the number one. Because if it don't make sense, please let me know if I'm not making any sense. I need somebody to let me know. Thank you. Somebody believes I'm speaking facts. Thank you. Facts one. 111. Thank you. One. One means yes, I agree with you, Shirley. I get it. Because sometimes people say, you're too deep. You're too intense. Well, honey, this is not the Milk and Toast channel. This isn't some celebrity bullshit channel. This is a channel I'm going to make you work your brain and do your homework and prove what I'm saying wrong. And if I'm wrong, I will stand to be corrected. But trust me, the queen does her work. Thank you for all the ones that are being typed in right now. All the ones, because we have to do black family first. We come first regarding our issues and our people. But if we're going to talk about socialism, socialism moves as a collective. It moves in a way of a board that we don't want. Red Pill says no, too. Well, Red Pill, that's fine. You don't have to real agree with me. You could be the only Negro standing in the corner, ain't getting no check, ain't getting no money. Because you think these white people want to pay us anything? They don't want us to have nothing already. But if you do your homework and you understand that the Freedman Bureau is a compensation check that should be allotted through a distribution through the next lineage, generational wealth, and all we do is need to promote the receipts and the information, I don't think that's rocket science. I think that's facts. Thank you for all the B1s and the ones that are typing in. Because you guys understand, I told you I don't, the check. Okay, well, that's on you. I thank you so much for your contribution and for your love. You guys say so many good things, and we must continue to communicate each other. And yes, Trump continues to release prisoners out of the prison reform situation, which I think is wonderful, but we are not just people that are all in jail. Everybody black ain't in jail. Everybody black right now are trying to help other family members, but they can't because they are one leg from staying off the streets themselves. We can't even go and pick up a brother or a sister on the street right now. So we need to start thinking about how do we come back as a family? How do we put our notes together? And how do we utilize where Congress has failed the black community and perform that act and tell Congress, you failed us. You stole from our banks and you're still stealing it from our communities by taking us out of the labor force and flying and migrating and immigrating all these illegals into this country and these migrants into this country and this foreign money into this country. Let me give you an idea, and I'm going to leave you on this note. You know how many people need money right now? Put F1, BF1. BF1. Who needs money? Put BF1. Black family first. Okay, if you put BF1 and you need money now, let me tell you how you ain't going to get it and the reason why. Because, or how other people are positioning themselves. If you're in China right now, you're in Mexico, you're in Spain, you're in Korea, you're in Italy, you'll get a bank in your country. You'll put that money, you'll go get a loan. Let's say you get a loan for $100,000. But what you don't realize, let's say in Italy, this is hypothetical because I don't know what the exchange rate is. What you don't realize is that Italy has a higher exchange rate and the American dollar is not strong as some other countries. So they'll take $100,000 and they'll convert it into American dollars. Go with me, understand where I'm saying with this. They'll convert that money of $100,000 to American dollars, and maybe they can convert it to $120,000 cash. Now you times that by 10. with a group of family members from China and from Mexico and from Arab countries and from Dubai and all these other countries. They are converting their money into American dollars, and they're out buying you. They're buying all your local stores, your markets, your gas stations, and they're paying cash. How do black people get cash? Oh, we got to go to the bank. Stay cool. Love you. Good night, family. My phone's dying. Good night.